I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess. If you are new here, welcome. I'm a 6-year PhD candidate in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists. And as you might expect, I love to read. Today I have my November TBR for you. So I am participating in one event, Nonfiction November, hosted by Olive from A Book Olive. And this is actually her last year hosting it, which is rather sad. This has been an event way longer than I've been on BookTube. I can't remember if I've participated in it every year since I've been on here, but I've definitely tried to. So yeah, that's kind of sad, but I imagine that a lot of people will continue to read nonfiction in November, but it just won't be hosted by Olive. So thank you very much to her for creating this event and hosting it for so long, and we will miss her doing it. So we will start with the Nonfiction November books, and then we will take a look at the other things that I have on the list, because I am not reading only nonfiction. I would get burnt out very quickly. Let's jump in. So I have 2 works of nonfiction on this TBR. The first is Richard and John, Kings at War by Frank McLynn. This is a book about Richard the Lionheart, and I guess it's King John, Prince John. I don't really know. So like Robin Hood time period. Got Richard going on the Crusades. John having some issues. This was one of my brother's favorite books that I actually gave to him. So I got a lot of his books when he passed away. So I do want to read this one because it is kind of special to me for that. I know nothing about this period, as you can probably tell from the way I just tried to describe it. Like, this is not my period at all. So I'm excited to learn about it. And then for one that's definitely in my period that I am reading for my dissertation, this is the autobiography of Harriet Martineau by Harriet Martineau. So this was on a few TBRs, to be honest, and I still haven't gotten to it, but I will be eventually revising my chapter for my dissertation on Margaret Oliphant's autobiography. And this is one that I know that she reviewed it, so I want to read it and kind of see how it compares. Martineau was also a woman writer. I actually just read her Deerbrook in October and really loved it. So I'm excited to get to this one. So now we are moving out of the nonfiction and into some fantasy books. This first one is Mirror Season by Anna Marie McLemore. This is a loose retelling of the Snow Queen. I love McLemore's fairy tale retellings. They have a Snow White and Rose Red one and a Red Shoes one, and I loved both of them, so I'm very excited to get to this one. I have no idea what it's about, to be honest. I actually have never fully read the fairy tale The Snow Queen, which is really weird, and I should probably fix that. It's not in my collection of Hans Christian Andersen tales that I had from when I was a kid. So I don't know. I think I will probably read the fairy tale first and then read this, but I'm very excited for it because I know that McLemore is wonderful. And then we have The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. I have heard amazing things about this over on Tumblr. This is the story of the half-goblin Maya, who is the youngest son of the emperor, and who becomes the emperor himself when everyone else in his family gets killed. So lots of political intrigue, and I've just heard it's amazing, so I'm excited for it. And then we move into some classics. Now, first up is one that is by one of my dissertation authors. This is Princess Napraxine by Ouida. My last Ouida book was a disappointment. We'll talk about that in my October wrap-up. But I'm hoping that this one will redeem her a little bit for me because it is more like Moths, the one by her that I really, really love. This is the story of Nadine Napraxine, who is a mondaine, a female dandy, who is just like going around breaking men's hearts and not caring. So I'm really excited for this one, since we're going back into like the fashionable society stuff that I really fell in love with Ouida for, and away from the 19th century Italian artists but that's another video. I am excited for this one, and I'm hoping to love it a lot. And then we have another Victorian book. This is Ideala by Sarah Grand. This has been on other TBRs. So is Princess Napraxian, for that matter. I think it's been on my list of books to read for like the past 2 years. Anyway, Ideala is a New Woman novel. It is the first in Sarah Grand's New Woman trilogy that I read completely out of order. It's the story of a woman named Ideala who makes a bad marriage, which is basically the plot of all of Sarah Grand's New Women novels. But I really enjoyed her other books. I loved the Beth book. That was fantastic. The Heavenly Twins I liked, but I had some issues with. So I'll be interested to see the first book. It's also shorter, so it's a lot shorter than the other two, so that's always nice. And then we have one more classic, and that is The Stranger by Albert Camus, or L'Étranger, because this is in French. So one of my goals for the year was to read 2 books in French. I read Charles Perrault's Fairy Tales a few months ago, and now I want to read The Stranger, which is nice and short. However, the edition of Charles Perrault's Fairy Tales that I have was specifically for English speakers learning French. It had a lot of footnotes and a whole glossary in the back of words that you might not know. This does not have that. This is just straight up French. So I'm a little nervous about that, but we will see how it goes. I mean, I've read the first page, and I know I've understood the first page. Also, somebody has annotated it to Hal in French. Oh, no, only the first page. Really? Only the first page you annotated to Hal? What the heck? Oh, no, there's a few more. Okay. Whatever. Mostly the annotations are just on the first page. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I don't really know what this is about. I know it's about a guy who basically feels like he's an outsider from the whole world, but I don't know anything about it other than that. I should probably read a summary on Wikipedia just so that I know the general gist before I actually just jump into it in French. But we'll see. I might not get to this. I don't know. I feel like I haven't gotten to a lot of the books that I've wanted to read on all of these TBRs that I've made. I'm writing my dissertation. I'm applying for jobs. So sometimes, reading has to fall back a little bit. But we will see. I'm hoping to get to it because I would really like to read another book in French. So that is my November TBR. It's a lot shorter than some other ones I have made, particularly my October one for Victober. But I'm trying to be realistic about what I can actually read as I move into the end of the year, move closer toward my defense, and really just need to be writing a lot. So we'll see what happens. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you read any of these? What did you think? What are your plans for November? Are you participating in Nonfiction November, and what are you reading for it? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.